Incremental routines. So why you should use Supermemo? One of the factors is that there is a problem of forgetting, and Supermemo solved this problem. But let's dig first what is the problem of forgetting. So common frustration. You see that you study new material, you read new material, and then you recall very little, meaning you have forgotten a lot of what you have processed. You understood that, or most of it, and regardless of that, it goes away. Why this happens? Because the brain loses information quickly without deliberate rehearsal, deliberate repetitions. And educational pressures often push you to learn new stuff at the expense of review what's old. Because there's way too much material to cover in the curriculum with not enough time, so you are pressured to cram. And you prioritize what's new every time, and you don't do deliberate rehearsal of what's not new to keep that on memory. Since you no longer review that, it's prone to be forgotten. Therefore, forgetting is a universal problem. Unless we make time to review, knowledge slips away. And that is a universal truth. There will be people who think that if it's important, they will remember it some out of minutes. Truth is that we forget a lot. Then, the harm of halfway solutions, half-baked solutions. They don't do the entire solution. So balancing act. Students offer jungle new content while occasionally revisiting old topics. So we said before that you only do new topics and new topics. This is occasionally something. It's a halfway there solution. What happens if we do this? That those people will retain what's needed for the current exams or projects, but lose much else in the past. So you're constantly overwriting new content and deleting older content. It's a never-ending process. So it's a disaster at the end of the day. Most of the invested time yields only temporary gains and then vanishes. So, how I like to coin it is that you have some large victories, but those victories go away, fade away. And we will see how Supermemo does it, that as a contraposition, the victories are very small, but those victories are permanent. So understanding relies on memory too. Exactly. A lot of people say, no, I only need to understand, and that's it, not to remember. Meaning that remembering is just rote learning. Usually that's because of the school system. You will think that memorization equals to rote, and that's not the case. So for basic understanding and building this understanding and this knowledge, you need memory. You need memory to know your name, to remember your name, and the letters of the alphabet. If you don't have enough memory, you will have to relearn letters every time to reduce it to the absurd, but you know what I mean. So let your memory fade, and depth of understanding fades with it. Exactly. If you don't remember the letters in the alphabet and all of that, I won't be able to read, I won't be able to say my name, all of that. Then, why is it inevitable? Why we cannot avoid forgetting? First is the systematic pressures, like schools, university, or worse places which emphasize new content mastery, and little formal support for consistent systematic review of older knowledge. So if you do this, you do it on your own, by yourself. The school system doesn't teach you how to do that, how to keep everything in memory, and review older stuff, obviously, at increasing intervals. So every time it's less and less often. The second is the forced waste. There's no structured approach to repetition. Most knowledge decays over time, wasting effort. But there's a solution for that, remember, in the next video. So we are forced to keep up with new demands while old knowledge quietly slips away. It's like you have a leak, there's some water leaking. So it doesn't matter how many water you pour, it's leaking. So it will fade away in a matter of time. So enter Supermemo. So we have space repetition that was born with Supermemo. Now there are more apps. But keep in mind in this course, it's because of incremental reading, which is a superset of space repetition. Space repetition minimizes the time spent on reviews while maintaining high retention. Exactly. So you want to keep facts you have learned in long-term memory, and you want to maximize the efficiency, which is the same as minimizing the review time. Long-term, you spend the least amount of time with remembering those facts. It's a win-win situation. You will eventually remember that, unlike the other methods that you keep forgetting, only focusing on the short term, and you will have spent less time. So you win in both sides of the coin. Then, solve key dilemma, letting you master new information and keep the older, hard-earned knowledge alive. So you keep accumulating. You don't do substitution. That, hey, what's currently or what's new that I need now, and I replace that every time. No. You just accumulate. Obviously, it's not perfect. There's some forgetting, but there's an algorithm to minimize that forgetting. And it's just a matter of time that what you have chosen to remember, you will remember it. And even low time commitment. Exactly. This 3 minutes a day is an example. But just to let you know so imagine this case, that you study all the new content and perhaps occasionally you review all topics. You will invest less time than in this case. Yes, you will have an absolutely better outcome because you will remember most of it, like this case, and you will have spent less time. So even if your goal is just spending less time, it's still useful. So imagine how powerful it is, that it's better and more efficient at the same time. It's a win-win. So repetition doesn't need to be endless. With the right method, it's precise and efficient. With speed repetition, you do the repetition when you're about to forget it, and this strengthens the memory a lot more than if you do it any random day that was not required. So if you're under no pressure, you don't have deadlines and all of that, it's even better because you can optimize to the long term. It's no. I need to be able to recall of this before this day, October 12th, to say something. No, it's whenever. So when it's optimal for space repetition, then I will know it. So therefore, you have complete control of what you rehearse and when. Absolute freedom. Memory organization. You build your personal knowledge database. It's not a personal knowledge management. It's not the same thing. Meaning that what's in the collection is for what will be on your brain. It's not to collect facts that you will not remember ever, unlike the knowledge management. So you will review daily, or most of the days, not necessarily daily, to keep it fresh. And remember, what's more recent, you'll do repetitions more often, and what's older, it will be less often because it spaces up. Every time intervals increase. And in Supermemo, increase dramatically, unlike other algorithms, even including FSRS, that is more new. In Supermemo, long term, you should do less repetitions overall. While the retention rate, the stuff you remember, is even higher. But we won't come to the details now. So a mind unpressured and stressed by deadlines can flourish by pacing itself. Small steps begins. At the end of the day, even if you had no deadlines, you will still achieve more. It may sound contradictory, but at the beginning it's slower, but then the growth, skyrockets. So simple daily habit. Try the 3 most important things I learned today. In case you have never experienced spaced repetition, start with this. 3 facts. There will be 3 flashcards. That's it. Just with this, it will be enough to see changes. That, hey, 3 every time. Then after a month, it's 90 items, 90 facts. And hey, I remember almost all of them. And just with this, you will see that, hey, I was forgetting a lot more than I thought. you will see a abrupt difference, even if you only do 3 a day. So you will be able to watch how steadily recalling them changes your depth of knowledge over time. That's also a fact. As long as the facts have some correlation, are not random trivia, like who won the Nobel Prize that year and something like that, it will be very fresh in your memory. That means it will be accessible, retrievable. And you will have, oh yeah, I can solve this problem now, or makes sense because everything is very fresh, easy to access in my brain. Even if you only do 3, you will still have a small scale example of that. Like a sample, when you want to buy a product, let's say, hey, I want a sample of that. With this sample, you will see it, even though you have to commit several days, or weeks, or even months to see that power. So a little daily wisdom, reviewed consistently, can reshape a lifetime of learning. Yep, and chances are that what you have learned in a school year, especially history, that is more like easy to do for flashcards, everything is suitable. It's just that it's easier for a beginner to do history. Which year was these kind of questions. You will learn more with this method, spaced repetition, than the regular methods you use in the school system. Meaning that with the right method, you will cover the same curriculum with a lot less time. Perhaps you will spend one year, let's say, so the natural time invested, let's simplify, is the same, but the amount of time you spend each day is just a few minutes instead of hours. So the time you invested, the actual time invested in learning about history, it will be just a small fraction. And you will be able to recall any single date you want. It's just one example. So conclusion, forgetting can be tamed through deliberate repetition. Yes, but deliberate is not efficient. What's efficient is with Supermemo offers a systematic solution, saving time on prescribing crucial knowledge. So instead of deliberate repetition, like the deliberate practice, you do it when it's just needed. When it is about just to forget, you do that repetition then. So you do the least amount of repetitions. I have flashcards that I have only done 3 repetitions in 5 years, and I know them. Yeah, some will be forgotten, but most of them will be remembered with just a few repetitions. Timing is key. So final thought, to wrap up the video. Focus on a small but significant daily inputs, even if it's just 3 a day. The 3 most important things, meaning the 3 most high priority that have more impact in your life, whatever that is, and watch your retention and ultimately your understanding soar. And you will have what's called your own anecdotal evidence. If you're skeptical about spaced repetition or incremental reading, try this, and you will have a preview of the power of a spaced repetition on your own skin. So that has been the problem of forgetting, and in the next video we will see how Supermemo solved this problem. We have seen just an overview, but we will go more in detail. See you incrementally.